Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting installment of this podcast. Episode 2. I know, of course, you're not really committed until you've done at least, 10, 15 episodes? So, okay, yeah, I get it. The expectations of this lasting is very low at the moment. Not until I've done a few of these. But nonetheless, I'm very excited to be jumping into today's episode. Um, let's just get right to it. I have ChatGPT with a brand new word, and I told it to explain it to me like I'm 5, like I did in the first episode. But then I told it to really take your time with it, with the explanation, and really make sure you talk down to me. I really wanted to feel like it's someone's talking down to me, like as if I'm truly am 5 years old and don't know this word. So the word of the day is gyat. 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 All right, kiddo, listen up. You know when you're playing with toy trucks, and some of them are just regular little trucks, but then, bam, you see a huge one. Like, so big, it looks like it shouldn't even be able to move. It's kind of what Gyat is all about. But instead of talking about a toy truck, people use Gyat when they see someone with a really, really big booty. Yep, like a supersized one that makes everyone stop and stare like, whoa, how does that even exist? So imagine you're in a room and someone walks by with a backside so gigantic that everyone gasps at the same time. Like a choir in church, all singing in super high note together. That's when people yell, "Gyat!" It's like a mix of surprise, amazement, and a little bit of respect for the laws of physics being broken. Now go finish your juice box, champ. Just go ahead. Just now that you know what a gyat is, I want you to go ahead and go finish your juice box, champion. Just go have fun. The difference between this episode and last episode is that this particular time I have a timer. I know how long we're going to be doing this. So, I've gathered everyone's facts that you want me to look up. There's a lot of them. There was a lot of them. And I've taken the time to make ChatGPT Jat Chat. I don't know why I keep saying Jat. I made the Jat Jat made this. So I took the time to look up the facts. I made ChatGPT reword it as if it was a Dr. Seuss rhyme or a Dr. Seuss poem. So this is the tale of banana bread. Oh, have you heard? Have you been told of a loaf so sweet, so warm, so bold? It's golden brown, it smells so grand. Banana bread, the best in the land. It all began way back in time when tossing food was quite a crime. The Great Depression, times were tight, and wasting food just wasn't right. A housewife saw with weary eyes her bananas turning old, oh my! But wait, a thought, a grand delight. Mash them up, that just might. So in a bowl she smashed them down, and all gooey, soft, and speckled brown. She mixed them up, she stirred with grace, and made a treat to feed her place. With sugar scarce and... what? Pennies. Pennies! That word says pennies, and not penis. Alright. With sugar scarce and pennies few, those ripe old... what the fuck is that? Nanners. What? Those ripe old nanners had a clue. Why does that feel like a slur towards bananas? What the hell? They made things sweet, they made things fine, and saved the folks from hunger's wine. And then came powder, baking's friend. It made the bread rise, up and bend. No yeast, no fuss, no kneading sore. Just mix then bake, then out the door. The years went by. No. The years. Yeah, no, I read that right. I read that right. The years went by. The bread still stayed. The war and change, it's never swayed. The 60s brought a brand new twist, with wheat and sugar on the list. And now today, it's still the same. A loaf that's earned its well-loved fame. We bake it up, we pass it round. With nuts or chips, it's homeward bound. A bite of love, a bit of cheer, banana bread, a treat to sincere. That's nice. I love banana bread. I didn't know it was a Great Depression thing, though. I always wondered where banana bread came from. Didn't know it was from the Great Depression. I know biscuits and gravy is from the Great Depression. That was a depression meal. And isn't a can of mash? Isn't that also a depression meal? It's like a can full of corned beef, potatoes, and salt. And like hash, not mash, hash. A can of hash. And like you could serve it with a fried egg. Alright. The next fact. The perilous pockets and witches' woes. In days of old, both gals and blokes had little tied on pocket totes. They'd cinch them tight around their waist. To hold their things, it worked with haste. But time marched on, and fashion swayed, and men's small pouches got an upgrade. Sewing and snug right in their pants, but women? Nope, they had no chance. They still had pouches tucked inside, through skirted slits where things could hide. But oh, the whispers, oh, the talk. What's in her pouch? A key? A lock? She's hiding things, a note, a charm, a wicked spell, a hex, alarm. And though no proof was even found, that gossip swirled and spun around. Then dress changed, the fashion twist. A bulky patches? Off the list. For ladies had, so men confessed, enough round bulges in their dress. 2 at the top, 2 at the side. A 5th one, no, that won't abide. And so the pockets shrank away, a trend that still remains today. But witches? No, that's not the tale. No magic theft, no broomstick trail. The truth was plain, the facts were clear, just fashion shifts across the years. Then factories burst, machines went clang, and pockets vanished with a bang. Mass production took the lead, and freely fashion filled the need. Yet here we are in modern times with pocket woes and fashion crimes. For women's pants, oh, what a shame, are pocketless in fashion's game. So yes, dear friend, it's verified that pockets were for gals denied. But witches? No, that part's untrue. Just one more myth that spread and grew. So when you find a dress so grand, but can't slip pockets in your hand, just sigh and say, it's been this way for ages past, but not to stay. I remember the first time I found out that, like, women don't have pockets in their pants, and it was something that, like, I didn't know, and I was just blown away of, like, wait, yeah, why? You don't have pockets? Why? And it's interesting that it's still something that's around today. Like, why? Why no pockets? I don't understand. I'm curious if a company was to ever start making women's pants with pockets, would it become big? Or would it just, like, is it because it's such a fashion to not have pockets would like, I could see some pairs of pants being bought. Like, I'm sure every woman would want a few pairs of pants with pockets, obviously. Like, I don't see why you couldn't make nice looking pants with pockets. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. It's like, oh, well, the bulge. Who cares? It's, what, 2025? Why do we care? Make the pants with the pockets. It's not that big of a deal. Just do it. If you don't, then I'll make a big deal about it. I'll make a big deal about it. I'll make it. I'll make the pants with pockets. I'm not good at sewing, but I'll do it. I've also heard this one person talk about like, oh yeah, if you want to like surprise your girlfriend or wife with an anniversary gift or like a birthday present, go get their favorite dress. And take it to a tailor and have them install pockets. Because a tailor could, install them pretty easily in the same fabric and everything. And that way they'll have pockets in their favorite dress. All right, here we go. The next poem. Unsinkable Sam, the Seafaring Cat. There once was a cat with whiskers so grand, who sailed the wide sea from land to land. Oscar they called him, Oscar as well, a cat with a tail too tall to tell. On Bismarck he started a battleship bold. Through waters both stormy and bitterly cold, the cannons went boom, the ships went its doom, and Oscar was left in the watery gloom. But fear not, my friend, for Sam had a trick. He floated on wood and was rescued real quick. The ship called Cossack took him aboard, and soon his fine feline was safe and adored. But trouble was brewing, as trouble oft will. A torpedo came in from a terrible kill. Kaboom went the blast, the ship split apart. Yet Sam, oh dear Sam, still kept up his heart. He paddled and purred, with paws feeling sore, till Gibraltars, good sailors, fished him ashore. But was this the end? Oh no, not just yet, for Sam had more journeys, more dangerous to set. Next came the Ark, a great royal ship, where Sam took his post on a watery trip. Yet again came a torpedo, splash, crash, and slam. Set floating once more was Unsinkable Sam. From ship to ship, from sea to shore, 9 lives he had, but was losing them 4. So off to the governor's house he did go. No more torpedoes, no more, oh no. In Belfast he rested, a sailor no more, his paws never touching a ship's rocking floor. He lived a long life, with fish in his dish, a legendary cat, a seaman's wish. And if you should wonder, could all this be true? Well, sailors love stories and telling quite a few. But whether all fact or a maritime sham, one thing is certain, we all love Unsinkable Sam. You know what? Honestly, I could see this as a Dr. Seuss book. I really could. I honestly could see that. That's adorable. I also know that it's a fact that back then they did use cats on naval ships, and it was mostly due to the fact that there was, rats, mice, and the cats were used to sort of keep that population situation down. So like there's like old photos of like, what do they call them? They're like boarding passes. Like when you were in the service, you'd have like a little boarding pass. I don't know what they're called, but like it would have a picture of you, what rank you were, and your name, and like which ship you were addressed to, and the cats would get one as well. And not only did they have a job, like they definitely had their own, they had duties, right? They weren't just a pet. They actually were there for a reason. It's just that, I don't know, I think that's kind of adorable and funny. And like, I guess one of the most popular ones is Unsinkable Sam, which I think is really cool. All right. The next poem. It's a long one, so I'm going to like reposition to get a more comfortable stance, sitting position, because this one is in fact a long one. It's called The Great Wolf Whoopsie. In a land full of snow, where the cold breezes blow, the soldiers set up for a wolf audio show. They trained with their speakers, big boxes of sound. But oh, what a mess when the word got around. The plan was quite simple, or so they had thought. A harmless wee test, but a mess soon was wrought. They'd play some wolf noises, a howl and a growl, and see how the speakers could carry the howl. But then came a blunder, a twist most unwise. A letter was written, a wolf-filled surprise, with government letterhead printed so neat. It warned of wild wolves running loose in the street. The wolves have returned, said the letter so bold. The government placed them right out in the cold. They're roaming, they're prowling, they're looking for food. So lock up your doors if you know what is good. Now, this was pretend, just a part of the game. A trick of the training not meant to cause fame. But one soldier saw and said, "Goodness me, the people must know. This is real as can be." He snapped a quick picture and sent it away to his dear worried wife, who then had her say. She ran to the neighbors. "This cannot be right. There are wolves in the valley. Stay in tight." Then phones started ringing. The panic was grand. Nova Scotia was worried. Who let wolves out on our land? They called up the government. "Tell us the scoop. Did you dump the wolves in the government's troop?" "Oh no," said the officials. "This cannot be true. We did no such thing. We have no wolfy crew." We have no wolfy crew. They rushed. They rushed to debunk it. They posted and swore, "There are no loose wolves, not one, not a score." Meanwhile, the army was deep in distress. They knew that their plan was a big, howling mess. "No, no," said the leaders. "This got out of hand. There aren't any wolves prowling over the land." And so they apologized, heads hung down low, for the wolf who had never, not even let go. They paused their loud training, took time to reflect, and thought, next time maybe we should double check. But oh dear reader, the story's not through. There's more about things the army might do. They trained their own spokesmen in sneaky techniques, like those that once stirred up political leaks. $1 million, oh, what a price, to teach behavior change tricks, not so nice. They plan to use Twitter and Facebook and more to nudge what Canadians might think at their core. With personal accounts of soldiers to tweet, but hidden behind them a plan to compete. The messages posted would seem from a friend, but the words were crafted, designed to pretend. Academics and generals too played a role to spread all the messages, reach every goal. But oh, what a twist! When the plot came to light, the government gasped and said, "This isn't right. You can't use these tricks on Canadians. No, this isn't a war. Let these tactics not grow." So shut it all down, they did in a flash. The propaganda plan thrown out with a crash. But still, dear reader, a lesson remains. One must take care when playing these games, for sometimes a whoopsie, a tiny miscue, can spiral and spin into something brand new. A wolf that was fake, yet still caused a fright, and a plan that was real, but shut down overnight. So let this be known, from the hills to the seas, that rumors and whispers can ride on the breeze. And next time you hear of a wolf in the land, be sure that the facts are at your own command. That's pretty wild. I don't have any input. I have zero input. I actually do think that's kind of crazy that the Canadian. Okay, first of all, why wolves? Out of all of the sounds, like if this was just a little test, why choose wolves? Right? Like you knew there was like they had problems with wolves in the past, and like I have an idea. Let's play wolves on our speakers. You could have done anything, right? Clearly, that was a fear tactic that got a little carried out of hand, And they were like, "Uh-oh, didn't mean for that to like escalate like it did." Well, no, duh. What do you think was gonna happen? Oh, I forgot how long this next one is. It's called Wolves of Yellowstone: A Tale of Erratic. Okay, okay. Well, look. All right. I sometimes I have a hard time reading. Okay. sometimes I don't read very well. But like, I'll do my best here. Okay. Even though I don't do very good at reading. Even though I don't do very good at reading. A Tale of Eradication and Restoration. Way, way back, in days of old, when Yellowstone was fresh and bold, the wolves would run, the wolves would roam. The park was their great, howling home. With fury feet and golden eyes, they kept the land in balance wise. They'd hunt the elk, they'd chase the deer, they'd keep the forest fresh and clear. But oh, alas, in time you see, a plan was made most dreadfully. The wolves, they cried, they must be gone. They eat too much, they hunt too strong. In 1884, the troubles came. Montana made a bounty game. $1 paid for each wolf dead, and soon the park turned still with dread. From 1914 to 26, a wicked plan was in the mix. They set their traps, they laid them low, and wolves were lost to tooth and toe. By 1926, the last pack fell. No more howls, no more yells. The elks grew fat, the trees grew thin, a mess without the wolves within. For 70 years, oh, what a blunder, the park was left without its thunder. The elk ran wild, the shrubs grew few, the rivers shrank, the grasses too. The willows dropped, the beavers fled, the landscape sick, a land near dead. The birds took wing, the balance tipped, without the wolves the whole park slipped. But then, hooray, a brand new day. A law was signed to pave the way. The Endangered Species Act was passed to bring back wolves to heal the past. The 80s came with howls anew. Some wolves returned, a very few. Then Congress said, let's make it right. Let's bring them back. Let's end this plight. A plan was made in EIS, a study first, no need to guess. And after years of back and forth, a choice was made, release them forth. 1995, the wolves came back. 14 arrived to lead the pack. From Canada, they made their way to Yellowstone, where they would stay. In March 95, the gates swung wide. The wolves ran free with steady stride. The packs took shape. Oh, what a sight. Their howls hang out by day and night. The Rose Creek pack, so bold and bright. The soda butt, the soda butt pack, full of might. The Crystal Creek pack, strong and true. The Yellowstone wolves were back. Woohoo! In 96, they came once more. 17 wolves, not less, not more. New pens were built, new packs arose, and balance bloomed like summer's rose. The Druid Peak pack, fierce and grand, with Nez Perk's wolves to share the land. The Chief Joseph pack and Lone Star pair, more wolves now filled the mountain air. As years went on, they'd come and go, sometimes high, sometimes low, from 2008 to 2017. That doesn't rhyme. That last one didn't rhyme. From 2008 to 2017, the wolves were listed, then unseen. Okay, that, all right there, that rhymes. They'd rise and fall back on the list, then off again. It was a twist. But through it all, they held their ground. The wolves endured. They stuck around. By 2017, they had grown. And off the list, they stood alone. Now Yellowstone's so wild and free, the wolves once more a sight to see. The 90 wolves or 110 and 500 more beyond their den. I'm sorry if I read that weird. It was worded weirdly in my head. The balance shifts, the elks grow lean, the willows sprout, the streams run clean. The beavers built, the birds return, the lessons learned, oh how we learn. The wolves bring life, they shape the land, a balance made by nature's hand. And now the world can see once more the power of the wolf's great lore. So if you walk in Yellowstone and hear a howl wild and lone, remember this, they once were gone, but now they thrive, their legend strong. Until like somebody decides to do another open season on them. Until someone else is just like, on second thoughts. On second thoughts, wolves kind of scary. Wolves, not friendly. Get rid of them again. I've seen a lot of people now who are like domesticating wolves and like mountain lions these days, where they're like, hey, if not friendly, why friend shape? And like they'll just bring them in. And I remember one of my friends sent me an article about like wildlife and nature or parks and rangers, and they're like, stop bringing in mountain lions into your house. They're like, yeah, but they're cold. They have fur, they'll survive out in the cold. Nah, they're cold outside, I need to bring them inside. I think that is pretty funny. If you're hearing me shifting a lot right now during this recording, it's because I sprained my foot. I did that in my sleep because I'm super smart like that. It's not even anything I could have done. All right, it was in my sleep. Okay. The next fact that someone requested. I'm just gonna awkwardly transition away from the fact that I committed an injury on myself in my sleep. I didn't know what this meant, but I found something on it. So it's called the Reindeer Nose War of Norway and Finland. And I looked into it, and like all I could find were like, well, I'll show you what I found by reading it. And I'm not gonna like tell you the facts. I'm just gonna read you the poem that I got. So let's jump into it. In a land full of snow, where the cold winds blow, where reindeer run free and the rivers flow, there's a tale to be told of old struggles and might, of reindeer, their herders, and a long snowy fight. Long ago in the past, in times that were old, Finland's love for reindeers began to unfold. At first, they were hunted so swift, so spry, but soon they were herded as the years passed by. Old stones and carvings dug from the ground show the bond that's been there, always profound. Tactics wrote in 98 AD of wild herders and skiers so free. Otter and Viking sailed over the sea, met King Alfred and shared his decree. The Sami have reindeer so loyal, so tame, they follow in herds, it's part of their game. Through centuries more, as time marched along, the Sami kept herding, their culture stayed strong. Sadat they formed, in groups they would stay, working together to show reindeer the way. But taxes arose, and the burden grew steep. Sami traditions began to comply, though they weep. Nomads they were, on mountains so wide, guiding their herds with nature as guide. Reindeer gave transport, gave milk, gave meat. Their hooves left prints where the pastures meet. But Finland took herding and set down some rules. By 1700, they had made their own schools. In districts they split. Oh my god, dude! How do I say this word? Paliskunat. Paliskunat. I don't know how to say that. There's two N's next to the U, so it's okay. Paliskunet. Paliskunet. if I mispronounced that, I am so sorry. All right, I don't know how to read these words. I don't know if you were listening earlier, but I'm not that great at reading in general. Palaskanet by name, each with its borders, none quite the same. By 32, a law had been set for how reindeer herding would work. You bet. But times they do change, and soon in the night, snowmobiles roared. Oh, what a sight! No longer on skis, no more careful trend. ATVs roared, and the herders now fled. Their herds grew scattered, their lands stretched so wide. Herders no longer stayed close by their side. Reindeer, once calm, now startled, took flight. Escaping the noise, they fled from the sight. But still, knowledge old holds value so great, passed down through the years, it's not up for debate. Through storms and through storms and harsh cold, the wisdom remains to keep reindeers alive and free in their veins. Small in its scale, but mighty it stands. Reindeer herding, Sami culture in hands. Borders were drawn, and some woe it did bring, blocking paths where the reindeer would sing. The lap codicil, the lap codicil, in words so clear, tried to keep herders where they held dear. But wars and rulers and borders anew left ancient routes now scattered and askew. Yet even today, with engines and speed, the Sami still herd with care and with creed. For reindeer and people, through forest and through time, still walk together in rhythm and rhyme. So there's a second part to this, okay? There's a second part to this poem. I'm not even going to call it a rhyming story. It's a poem. I'm reading poetry. It's Dr. Seuss poetry. A Dr. Seuss poem. Um, so quite literally, back in the day, you know, before 100 AD, uh, there were these people herding these, what are they, elk, deer, reindeer. They're reindeer. They were herding them, not hurting, herding. They were gathering them, and there's like a lot of people were like, hey, wow, they found a way to herd reindeer. You know what we should do? You know, what'd be really cool. Laws. And then like through wars, there was like new borders that like appeared, and you have like a bunch of these nomads that are herding deers, and like now they're like being restricted, and they're like, I'm sorry, what? Like, oh yeah, there's an imaginary line that you can't see, but you're breaking the law by passing over my imaginary line into this part of the country. So we're going to take your reindeer. What? What? I'm sorry? You say you have an imaginary line that's keeping me from crossing? All right, let's get into the second part. Now let's move on to the Reindeer's Nose War, a saga of laws, disputes, and territory bond. None of that rhymed. ChatGPT. None of that rhymed. Where Finland's herders made their mark and Norway came around. In Finland, if you live in the herding zone and you're from the EU, reindeer can be your own. But don't move too fast or you'll need to learn. There's a rule: join a district before you take a turn. Each district's special, mapped out with care. For reindeer to roam, each knows their fair share. 1/3 of the Finland, so snowy and grand, is where these herders live, and they've got a plan. 122,000 kilometers wide, where the reindeers roam free and can't be denied. 3 zones exist since the 60s decree, with Sami herding crowned priority. Each district marked by a law's guarding hand, where every move's mapped in Finland's land. And what of the bosses of those leaders so grand? In Parliament they meet to discuss the land. The oh my god. The Poro Parlamenti. They gather in might to shape reindeer rules in the soft snowy light. Leaders are voted by the reindeer they own, With each vote a say, their power is shown. And Rovanimies all in Rovanimies halls the discussion take place, where herders and leaders keep the reindeer's pace. Each district's decision are made by their herds. Local wisdom guides them with no need for words. 56 districts, so varied and true, from Lapland to Ulu, they've got work to do. In this world, 500. Oh, I'm sorry. In this world, 5,000 herders remain, but only 800 make reindeer their gain. Yet 6,700 still own a herd, for love of the reindeer is stronger than word. The written word, that is. They're probably cool with the spoken word. They're probably cool with the spoken word. Verbal agreements. They're cool with that. It's the written ones that they're not. There's the next part. How many parts? There's two more parts. There's two more sequels to this poetry, okay? You didn't just send me on like a simple, oh, what's this about? No, there's like a lot to this than just like, it wasn't necessarily a war, but a disagreement. And then like through other wars, there was new borders that got sent up. And so because of that, you had to like join like your own little club, your own little thing. And then there's people in parliament that are debating about these borders to this day that's preventing them from like herding their reindeer properly. Let's get to the next part. Let's see that we're learning now. We're learning through poetry. But reindeer's numbers, oh how they sway. Through decades and seasons, they changes every day. 100,000 once in the old days, then more and more in a reindeer craze. By 59, their numbers did grow. To 140,000 they started to show. In the 70s, the reindeers did fly. 250,000, oh my, oh my. Yeah, that pause you just heard me when I read the reindeers did fly. Santa? What? Santa? Is that where you got your reindeer? From Finland? But too many reindeers caused trouble so grand, the pastures were strained by this growing demand. Limits were set to keep balance in check, with 203,000 the cap they'd select. Every decade the ministry meets, they count the herds and keep the peace. After the slaughter, they plan for the year, making sure the herds still thrive without fear. If numbers rise too high, a calling's in store. By Ulu and Lapland, they'll open the door. Each owner can hold 300 or 5, depending on where their reindeers arrive. Yet reindeer, you see, aren't just for meat. 60 million euros, a profitable feat. Though reindeer's owners still face their plight, they work with the system keeping balance in sight. The taxes they pay are so easy feat. Reindeer's herding is not a business so neat. But districts report and share the load, while Sami herders carry their humble abode. In the end, through seasons, through ice and through snow, reindeer's herders thrive, and their cultures still glow. Through numbers and limits, through battles so grand, the reindeers and Sami still walk hand in hand. Okay, so I didn't know about this before, like, researching this, because I did read some of it. It's very dry, very boring. This is very much more entertaining, in my opinion. Trust me. Reading this was dry. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Fascinating but dry. Reading it like this, so much better. I didn't know about this problem that they were facing. I didn't know that they were facing this dilemma where they're like, there's all this dispute over, like, oh, you can only have this many reindeer, and you can only have them in these locations. And if you have this person as your representative, and if you allow Parliament to like decide what happens to your reindeers and how much they're worth and what you can do with them, they've been around since the early AD. Okay, they've been around forever, and you're gonna like just automatically assume you can tell them what they can do and what they can't do. That seems a little not realistic, not fair to them. Now, the pastures are shifting, not one and the same. For summer to winter, they're all part of the game. Reindeers need food, they need care and love, but industries rise from the lands that's above. Forests get lodged, the land gets too tight, but herders press on in the dead of the night. Pastures are changing, but still they hold fast. For reindeers and herders, their bonds built to last. Predators prowl, and they cause the great scare. Bears, wolves, and eagles, they're out there. But Finland pays for the damage that's done to keep the herders who will until the battle is won. The climate change, oh, it adds to the fight. Warm winters, odd weather, they're losing the light. But Sami herders hold tight to their lore with thousands of words for snow, ice, and more. They know the reindeer by color and name, by age, by sex, by their antlered fame. Each reindeer's detail is held close by and dear, passed down through generations year after year. So, through seasons, through battles, through frost, and through time, reindeers and herders still march in their rhyme. With hearts full of wisdom, they walk hand in hand, for the reindeers for Sami across the great land. That's it. That was the end of that one. The next one, Mike the Headless Chicken. That's the next fact. In Fruita, Colorado, so wild and so grand, lived a chicken named Mike who had no head on hand. It happened one day in the year 45 when Mike lost his head, but he still stayed alive. Farmer Lloyd Olson had plans for his supper, but his axe, oh, it slipped. It was quite the big bummer. It chopped off his head, but missed just the right vein, leaving his brain stem intact. Oh, what a strange gain. No blood came a pouring. Mike didn't quite die. He squawked and he strutted and gave it a try. Though his crowning was gurgles, not quite like before. Crowing. His crowing was gurgles, not quite like before. Mike still danced around like he didn't know the score. He waddled, he balanced, and tried to peek grain with a beak that was missing, but still had the brain. A little, oh my god, a little milk and some corn. That's all he would get. He toured the world, causing quite the big bet. A showman, a star, a chicken of fame, Mike made his mark in the annals of game. He went on tour with sideshows galore, photographed, printed in papers, and more. But alas, in 47, he choked in the night. No syringes or helpers, syringes, sorry, my bad. No syringes or helpers to make it all right. He lived for 18 months, a record to keep. But sadly, dear Mike went to sleep, for good in a heap. His fame still survives in Fruta, they say. They celebrate Mike on the third weekend of May. A 5K run, a cluck off, a bingo with pop. Oh, oh no. That doesn't say pop. That's not soda pop. A bingo with poop. With poop. It's a bingo with poop. Mike's legacy still gives the town quite the hoop. Yeah, especially when you're like playing bingo for poop, apparently. And even the band, the Radioactive Heads, sang songs about Mike and danced on their beds. So here's to the chicken with no head on his back. He lived quite a life on the quirky side, Jack. What the what the fuck did I just read? What the fuck did I just read? What was that? What was that? What the hell? Like it was kind of cool about like, oh wow, there's a chicken that survived without a head for like so many months, and then it's like, yeah, to this day they celebrate by playing bingo with poop, and like there's a radioactive head that sings songs about Mike the headless chicken, and okay, well this went from mildly interesting to mildly creepy. What? It sounds like y'all wanted to start a cult. Sounds like you wanted to start a cult over a chicken. And then the rest of the town just went, yeah, no, that's exactly what we wanted to do. No, that's exactly what we wanted. Are you kidding me? Of course. Like the chicken, of course. All right, here we go. The siege of Tobruk, Tobruk. That's how I'm seeing it. That's how I'm going to say it. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. In the desert of North Africa, hot and wide, where the sand meets the sky, a great battle did reside. Tobruk, a port city, treasure to hold, captured by the Allies, but soon it grew cold. In January, it fell to the Brits in the sweep, but by March of that year, the Axis had a plan so deep. General Rommel, oh, he came in a hurry. With tanks and troops, he marched with no worry. But the rats of Tobruk, oh, they would not fall. A tough, stubborn bunch who'd outlast it all. For 231 days, they fought through the night, a siege that was fierce, but they held on tight. Now, rats wasn't meant to mean rodents, you see, but the name was given by Nazis as nasty as can be. Though no ships were abandoned, no rats on the rise, it was the grit of the men that won the prize. The Ninth Asui Division, led by Morsehead, held the fort strong with no thought of dread. I had to like slow down there because those were some complicated words to rhyme. Rommel, frustrated, couldn't break through. Tobruk stood firm, as the Allies knew. Artillery booming, bombers would dive. The defenders held on, kept hope alive. Air raids from the RAF, oh, what a sight. While ships ran supplies both day and night. But then came Operation Crusader with what a tale. And at last the siege broke with a gust of fresh gale. The Allies were saved, with victory in hand. The Rommel's dream crumbled like soft desert sand. So remember the rats, those soldiers so bold, defenders of Tobruk, their story told. Though the desert was hot and the winds did blow, it was their tenacity that made the desert glow. Now the winds still howl where the desert meets sea, a reminder of strength in history's decree. So here's to the rats, with their courage so bright. They turned the tide in the desert fight. That's actually pretty cool. That's actually a really cool history lesson. Alright, so berry classification. This one's called berry classification. This is about bananas are berries, is what this one's about. But I won't explain it. I'm going to let the poem do it. A berry is tricky, and that's no jest. A question of fruit that has put us to the test. Take bananas, for instance, so yellow and sweet. Botanically speaking, they're berries you meet. But wait, you might say, that can't be right. A berry's a berry, and a berry in sight. Strawberries, raspberries, they look like a berry. But here's the twist. Hold tight, it's a fairy tale scary. The truth is a berry's got layers galore. Exocarp, mesocarp, and ensocarp, 3 not 4. A berry's got to come from a flower, just one, with one single ovary. That's the way it's done. But bananas do it right. They fit the bill. From one single ovary, they fulfill the thrill. But strawberries, raspberries, even the black, each flowers multiple ovaries, and that's a fact. So strawberries, alas, are not berries at all. They're aggregate fruits, and that's what we call a fruit made of subunits, each one a drupe, little seeds inside, they make a crunchy scoop. Now, what's with this grasp? And, sorry, not grasp. Now, what's with these grapes and eggplants so bold? And tomatoes, too, with their berry like gold. They've got all the layers, and one ovary's true. So they join the berry gang, and they're perfect too. What the fuck? Tomatoes? Tomatoes. Tomatoes? Tomatoes are a berry? I knew they were a fruit, but I didn't know they were a berry. Tomatoes? Tomatoes are berries? They don't taste like it. They don't taste like berries. I don't remember biting into a tomato and be like, what a perfect berry. But cherries? No way. They just don't belong. They've got only one seed, so their song's gone wrong. They're drupes, not berries, with stones in their hearts. A cherry's not a berry, but no matter how it starts. The classification's chaotic, messy, and wild. Scientists struggle, yet still they're, what the fuck, bugled? Nature keeps changing, no rules to obey. The fruits evolve in their own wild way. So what's a berry, you ask, in dismay? It's all in the science. What more can I say? Bananas, grapes, and tomatoes too are true berries. That's the botanical view. So, I learned something new. I didn't quite read all the facts when I was putting this into ChatGPT. It was mostly copy and pasting from like different sources. Just to make sure I got like multiple articles. And a lot of them did say something about tomatoes. A lot of them did. And I didn't really pay close attention to it. And I just didn't. Okay, well, I didn't know that's what they were talking about. Once again, I had to reposition because my foot decided to cramp up. What a horrible time for me to make episode 2 of this podcast while I have a sprain. A sprain on my foot. Oh dear, a sprain on my foot. What am I going to do? Oh God. Cut it off. Cut it off at the knee. It really hurts. Moving on. Anglo Zanzibar. What? Okay, wait. In Zanzibar by the sea, there was a sultan, you see. A Sultan Hamad, quite the man, but on the 25th his life did span. His nephew Khalid came with speed to claim the throne, his greed indeed. But the British said, hold on a sec, you need our consent. What the heck? But Colin said, no, I'll be your sultan, don't you know? He locked himself up in his palace high, as British ships drew near the sky. They sent an ultimatum, loud and clear. Leave your palace, or war is here. But Khalid stood firm, flag flying high. His men were ready for the fight, oh my. The British ships lined up in a row, with sailors, marines ready to go. They had their guns, their cannons, their might, while Khalid's men prepared for the fight. At 9 o'clock sharp, they opened fire. Boom, boom, bang! The shouts were dire. The palace caught fire. Oh, what a sight! While the palace guard braced for their plight. The guns went off. The flag came down. The palace burned. The smoke a crown. Khalid, poor fellow, took the flight, escaping to the German consul's out of sight. A small naval clash took place too. The Glasgow sank, but the mast still grew. British Marines with rifles in hand, marching on, they took the land. By 940, it was all but done. The battle was over, no more to run. But 500 Zanzibars lay dead or hurt, as the British had ruled with a mighty spurt. Khalid fled to Germany. His fate was set, and the British made Hammond their marionette. The Sultan was gone, a puppet to regain, while Zanzibar's history was marked with pain. In the years to come, a new order grew. The British saw the job through. The Zanzibar shores, once free and grand, were under the sway of a British hand. Oh, what a war! So quick, so brief, lasting 38 minutes, what a relief. But in that short span of time, a kingdom fell and British climbed. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was a quick war. Wow, wow, wow. They really showed them what's for. Why? The more I'm rhyming, the more my brain is rhyming. That's not good. That's I'm getting a new form of brain rot, Dr. Seuss rot. I got the Seuss rot. Oh no, I got Seuss rot. Oh, what am I gonna do? I have Seuss rot. There, here we go. This one's called octopus. This one's called the octopus has three hearts. Oh my god. I think the plural word for that is octopi. Is that what it is? I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend to know. Oh, the octopus with three hearts. It's true. To pump the blood through gills. That's what they do. The first two hearts. Oh fuck! I don't know how to say that. Peripheral. You see, pump blood through the gills to gather oxygen for free. The central heart is special. Takes the oxygenated blood and gets the job done. It sends it through the body from head to toe, powering the organs, muscles, and toe. Now, why three hearts, you might ask with a glee? Well, it's all about circulation, you see. With so many limbs, they need to supply oxygen rich blood to make them fly high. Octopuses. Oh, so it is octopuses. I think where I messed up was I accidentally called them octopussies instead of octopuses. I pronounced the E. I think the E was supposed to be silent. Octopuses have a circulatory system so neat, a closed one where blood stays in vessels discreet. But when they swim, oh dear, what a fuss. The central heart stops causing a little fuss. You can't use fuss as your rhyming word, ChatGPT. What rhymes with fuss? Fuss. Why, you ask? It's pleasure, you see. Swimming makes their hearts work too hard. You agree. So they stop the central heart for a brief little while to avoid a workout that might be too wild. And here's something else that's oh so blue. Octopuses have blue blood, that's true. It's because they use a copper-based protein. Oh my, don't you dare. I'm not going to be able to say this correctly. I'm not. Okay. It's because they use a copper-based protein. Homocyanin. Homocyanin. To help oxygen flow clean and lean. But that's not all. Oh no, there's more. Octopuses have 9 brains to explore. One in their head and one in each arm, making their minds complex and full of charm. They crawl on the sea floor with grace, but when they swim, they lose their pace. Swimming exhausts them, you see. That's why crawling is their first priority. With 300 species ranging big and small, from giant Pacific to the tiniest of them all, They're solitary creatures. They live on their own in habitats where their blue blood is known. From warm to cold, they thrive with ease. Their blood's efficiency helps them to please. But alas, with oceans warming up fast, will their blue blood continue to last? So here's the tale of the octopus friend, with heart's blood and brains that never end. A creature of wonder, so special, so bright, a true marvel of the ocean's deep, dark night. Wasn't that a nice story, everybody? Wasn't that such a great, great story? There's a lot of these, by the way. I'm nowhere near done. Buckle up. Go get a snack. Come back. Sit down. There's a lot more to go. Because once we're done with this, there's a few more facts. Let me see here. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 facts, and then we're gonna go to the main section of this podcast. Wow, we've only been okay. So I'm trying to get this to 2 hours, and this podcast has only lasted for an hour on this timer. That's what it says. So I don't know why I'm complaining. There's still a lot to go. There's still a lot more to go. So let's begin, shall we? This one's called Sharks Before Trees. Sharks before trees. Before there were trees, oh yes indeed, sharks swam in the sea. Try that again, shall we? Before there were trees, oh yes indeed, sharks swam the seas like a swift stampede. They've been around for 450 million years, long before trees or forest cheers. An ocean so wide and river so deep, sharks adapted to survive, no time for sleep. Through 5 mass extinctions they did glide, with fins so fierce and jaws so wide. The earliest tree, small and quite spry, took millions of years to grow up high. While sharks, oh sharks, just swam and they fed on plankton, crabs, and fish in their bed. With a mighty bite and a sleek, swift tail, sharks munch on seals and sometimes on whale. They're older than rings around Saturn's great sphere. When sharks first evolved, Saturn's rings weren't here. Through oceans they swam, through rivers they flew, surviving and thriving with nothing to rue. From the first swim to the last, they've kept their peace, adapting and dodging each challenge they face. But don't be too sure that trees will lose, for sharks face a battle they may not choose. Our love for their fins and dangerous tail could see these old sharks one day fail. Sharks laugh at trees with their ancient might. They've been to the stars and back twice in flight. But the fight for their lives is one we must see. Can we save these old sharks or let them go free? You see, here's the thing. Yeah, like sharks have been around longer than trees, but like they think they're the greatest predator in the world. Let's check the scoreboard, losers. Who's on the endangered list? Oh, would you look at that? You. Well. Looks like you're losing. The scoreboard. I don't know why I said it like that. Let's check the scoreboards. Let's see who's going extinct. You or me? Oh, looks like you. Look at that. Looks like it's you. You're the one. We're winning. We're number 1. We're nowhere close to the extinction list. Nowhere close. We're gonna outlive them. We're gonna outlive them all. All these predator species. We're gonna outlive all of them. They have no chance. 0 chances. They have none. We're gonna win. We got this. We're gonna win, and then we're gonna talk about it on TikTok with our little TikTok dance. We're gonna like there's people who take their cats and they try to make them dance for videos and clout. And like, oh, dance. I mean, kitty cats. Dance. Right? They get like the little thing and they make the cat dance to it. Pretty sure that's just gonna be us. That's just gonna be us. Like, we're gonna be the last surviving race on this planet, and we'll just have to do it to each other. We'll just have to. You know what? Now that I think about it, we do that already. We already do that. We already do that to each other. It's a thing already. I don't know why I said pretty soon. We already do that. So, welcome to the future. We treat each other like pets. Oh no. The future looks kind of furry. All right, moving on. Moving on. The Long Day of Venus. It's quite a surprise. That's the name of the next poem. Poetry. Here we go. In the sky so high, Venus does spin, but a day on Venus is longer than a win. It takes her a whole 243 Earth days to twirl once around in her slow, slow ways. But wait, oh wait, here's the real twist. Her year is much shorter. You get the gist? A year on Venus is only 225. A circle around the sun, that's how long she's alive. Venus spins slowly in a retrograde way, where the sun rises west and sets in the bay. Her rotation's a mystery, so strange and so slow. Why doesn't she speed up? What makes her go slow? Her atmosphere's thick with a stormy thick cloak. It's carbon dioxide and sulfuric acid smoke. 900 degrees, whoa, it's scorchingly hot. Even a rock would melt if it's caught in that spot. The wind, they are fast, so wild and so strong. They tug on the surface where winds whirl along. They slow her spin down and the sun's gravity too. All of this forces her rotation to stew. In theory, without winds, Venus would spin fast. Tidal locking would happen. Her day and year would last. 1 day equals 1 year. It's the way things should be. But her atmosphere stops this as clear as can be. Stephen Kane studied, he did the math. He figured out why Venus is stuck in her path. 6.5 million years is what it would take for Venus to lock up in a tiny locked wake. But alas, her thick air and her winds on the go keep her rotation slow, oh so slow. The atmosphere fights, it does its own dance, preventing the sun's pull from getting a chance. So though the sun tries to make Venus align, her winds, her storms make sure she doesn't have time. Is this tale of the day and the year so apart? Venus spins slowly within a secret clever heart. Oh man. Oh man. That sucks. Sucks for Venus. Oh well. Oh man. I think having a spring has made me lose empathy. I've just stopped caring because I'm in too much pain. Alright, here we go. And in case you're wondering, ooh, take some pain medications like ibuprofen or Tylenol. No, I plan on drinking after this. I'm going to drink after this. That's why. I've got vodka and Dr. Pepper in the fridge right now, okay? I can't take that while being on Tylenol and ibuprofen. I probably could. It's just not a good idea. You don't want to do that, okay? You want to be responsible when you do stupid things. So this next one, it's called Cloud Weight. Oh, clouds are so fluffy, so white and so wide. But don't be fooled, there's more that meets the sky's side. For in each cumulus, so puffy and bright, a weight lurks within the tucked out of sight. A cloud, they say, weighs 1.1 million pounds. That's 551 tons of water floating around. Wait, how can it float? You might ask with a frown. When you think of that weight just floating down. Well, here's the secret, so clever, so neat. The water's dispersed in droplets so sweet. Tiny and small, they scatter in air, making the cloud lighter like it's floating with flare. Now let's do some math, don't let it cause fright. Let's break down the weight of cumulus light. It's the density that makes the cloud's true size. Each little droplet has weight, but no need to despise. Cumulus clouds, they weigh so much, and a volume so huge they've got quite the touch. 1 cubic kilometer, a billion cubic meters. That's where the weight starts from tiny little heaters. So if we take the density, oh, that's a thought, zero point 0.5 grams of water in each cubic spot. Multiply it all by a billion so big, we got 500 million grams, which makes the cloud jig. That's 1.1 million pounds, can you believe? Floating above us, it's hard to conceive. A cloud so heavy, but it floats with grace. It's like magic or science keeping its place. And why does it stay? Here's the big clue. The air below is heavier, and that's true. With droplets so small, they float without strain. The cloud stays afloat without feeling the pain. So next time you see one, just glance up and see how much weight is up there floating so free. A cumulus cloud with 1 million pounds is it floats in the sky spinning around and around. I wonder if like the reason why it rains. I'm sure this is it. I'm sure this is the reason why. I'm over here like I wonder maybe it rains because the water gathers. Just maybe. I'm just thinking out loud here, but maybe. I think it's because the clouds come together and the water starts to like you ever seen water droplets bump into each other and like they become a bigger water droplet? Maybe, just maybe. That's what's happening. It rains because the waters reform. God, I'm stupid. Sloth breath holding skills is the next one. How's everyone doing? Don't answer. I won't hear it. Uh, don't be sitting in your room going, "I'm doing great, Draft Pep. Thanks for asking," because I'm not going to hear that. Uh, I'll probably reply to you in the live chat or in the comments or something. But don't like sit there and answer me. I'm not going to hear you. You know how creepy that would be? Do you realize how creepy that would be if I could hear you? I just call you out, like out of everyone. I'm like, thanks, Jason. Thanks. Right now, Jason just freaked out. Like, so sloth's breath holding skills this is the next one. Sloths are not lazy; they're just slow. But here's a surprise that you may not know. They're experts at holding their breath, you see, longer than dolphins who swim so free. Dolphins so sleek, can swim with grace, but they need to breathe at quite a pace. 8 to 10 minutes, that's all they've got. Then up to the surface they take their shot. But the sloth, oh, the sloth, they're not in a rush. They can stay underwater without making a fuss. A sloth can hold its breath for a whooping 40 minutes. They're slow on land, but their skills infinite. It's not magic, no, it's nature's own plan. With a met, meta, met, metabolism. Metabolism, slow at the sand. Metabolism, wasn't it? It's metabolism, isn't it? What did I call it earlier? Metabolism? Metabolism? Metabolism. All right, that was a fun moment for me. It's not magic, no, it's nature own plan with metabolism, slow as sand. Their heart rate drops almost like a trick, slowing so much it's almost sick. While dolphins are fast and breathe with flair, sloths are secretly aquatic. They don't need to care. They're not lazy, just conversing their power. Conserving their power, savoring every single leafy hour. For when they swim, they glide with ease, faster in water that you'd ever believe. It's 3 times the speed of their land time crawl, but don't expect them to break records or race at all. Digestion slowly too. It takes them a month to digest a leaf. That's that's no stunt. What the what? How does that rhyme? What? Digestion slow too. It takes them a month to digest a leaf. That's no stunt. Oh, that's how I was supposed to read it. That was how I was supposed to read it. Okay. All right. That was my bad. But then their heart slows down, oh so tight. They stay underwater without a fright. The Conservation Foundation tells the tale. Oh, how they float in water without fail. Their stomachs filled with gassy delight makes them buoyant, floating like light as a kite. But wait, there is more in this ocean deep. Animals that dive and never sleep. The elephant seal, with a dive so grand, holds its breath for hours in the deep sea sand. And the curved beak whale, what a champion. 3 hours and 42 minutes. That's one. What? And the curved beak whale, what a champion. 3 hours and 42 minutes. That's one. Champion? One? Oh, I feel like that was a little lazy. But the sloth's slowly but the sloth's slow ways are still quite rare, holding their breath without a care. So don't let their slowness fool you one bit. They're they're strength-filled creatures, strong and fit, 3 times stronger than you or me. Their abilities are so wild as can be. So while sloths may move at a leisurely pace, in the underwater world they own the race. Oh, oh, that was a lot. That was a lot of reading. I've never read this much out loud before that I can think. I might have. I just don't remember. All right, here we go. So this one's called Honey Forever. Oh, honey so sweet, and here's what you must know. It doesn't spoil no matter how long it may go. Stored in a jar with a lid nice and tight. It'll last forever, keeping its golden light. The secret's in water, or should I say the lack. Honey's low water content keeps it on track. No room for bacteria, they simply can't grow. In this sticky delight, they just can't say hello. And the acidity's high. Oh, what a surprise. It makes honey a place that most microbes despise. Tiny bits of hydrogen peroxide inside. They help with the microbes that try to collide. But how does it last without going bad? The bees do their work, and it's not half bad. They fix it and store it in ways we can't see, preventing any pests from coming for tea. But over time, it may change in its hue, darkening, crystallizing, or losing its view. But don't you worry, it's still good to eat. You can warm it up and it's back on its feet. Just heat it up gently in a pan or microwave until it's back to its drizzly honeyed rave. As for the storage, it's easy, you'll see. A cool, dry place in the key, you agree. Keep the lid tight and keep it from heat, otherwise the flavor and color may take a retreat. No need for a fridge, that's not the way. Honey's fine at room temperature, come what may. So if it's crystallized, don't fret or cry. It's still as good as the day it was high. High. That shit's still good, even though it's high. Hide on that Mary Jane, you know. Don't worry, everything's fine. It's just high. My spring is hurting. That's no lie. All right. I lost my place. It's still good as the day it was nigh. Just melt it, store it, and let it stay sweet. The honey of yours is quite the treat. No expiration date, no time to fret. Honey's got staying power, no worries yet. Just keep it sealed and it's safe from decay. Forever and ever, it's here to stay. How much time do we have left? Oh my god. We've got like a whole whopping 40 minutes to go. Yeah, I'd say I probably can make it. There's a part of me that kind of want to make this a 3 hour podcast. So, time to move on to the segment. So those were all the facts that were submitted. I read them. I looked them up. I read them all. And then I took a little extra time, just a little extra time to look up the list of different boogeymen. And I decided, yeah, why don't I go ahead and like read all of the different. I'm still recording, right? This didn't stop. Yeah, no, it's still going. That I think. I think it's still going. That's gonna be so upsetting when I check to see how long I've recorded for, and like I stop the recordings and like you recorded for 10 minutes. And it's like, oh wow, fantastic. Anyways, so yeah, here is a list of different boogeymen. And even though in the last podcast I've already read about Alfredo, I thought it was appropriate to do it again, but this time a different poem about her. Maybe I should start with the most infamous. The most infamous, known as the Boogeyman. Start with the Boogeyman, and then I'll work my way back to Alfredo. Oh, the Boogeyman. Who is he, you ask? A creature of fright behind every mask. With no clear form, but plenty of fear, he lurks in the shadows, he's always near. From the east to the west, from the lands far and wide, the Boogeyman waits with nothing to hide. He's a shapeshifter, you see, with a twist and a turn, a demon, a ghost, with claws that might burn. One say he's a monster, some say he's a ghost. But what is he truly? Well, that's not the most. He's a scary old specter who comes in the night to snatch up misbehaving kids with a fright. With claws and sharp teeth, oh, so terrifying, he'll come in the flash without even trying. Is he big? Is he small? That's hard to say. He'll take whatever form to scare you away. In some places, he's called the Boggle or the Pook, a scary old figure who doesn't play nice, not a Luke. Luke? My God. Look. Look. Luke. In Scotland, they call him Boggle with fright. In Ireland, Puka, he'll make you take flight. But his name is the same from here to Peru. The boogeyman's lurking, waiting for you. He's he's the dark of the night, the terror, the scream. He'll make you behave, or he'll steal your sweet dream. So be good, be kind, or when you misbehave, the boogeyman will come, and you'll have to behave. He'll appear with a growl and a snarl or a hiss, and you'll wish you had done all that you missed. Now do you see him, or is it just lore? Maybe he's waiting right outside your door. He's not a fun guy, but a tool of control to keep kids in line with a spooky stroll. Remember, dear children, not all stories are true, though the boogeyman's legend is known by a few. He might just be mad. Oh my God. Mad? Why did I read that as mad? There's an E at the end. He might just be made up, or something you fear, but behave all the same, just to keep him clear. Alright, now that I've done that, I wanted to start with the boogeyman, since all of these are boogeymen. There are different types of boogeymen from around the world. Well, even though I've already done Alfredo, I'll do it again. But it's not the same poem. It's not the same poem, okay? It's different. Oh. I feel like I need to stand up, but that's just going to hurt my sprained toe. Do you ever like get an injury and your brain goes, hey, I think I have the cure. It's this. and you act on that cure, it makes things way worse. And you're like, huh, why did I do that? Huh, that was bad. That was a bad idea. And you do it again anyways. You're like, oh, why did I do it a second time in a row? That same bad idea. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. All right. Alfido, oh Alfido, with hair like the flower, a goddess of grain from the days of yore. She's known as the boogeyman, oh such a sight, a nursery tale told to children at night. She lived in the stories, the myths and the rhyme, a spirit of harvest from the ancient time, her name tied to flowers so white and so fine, with Alfida, the grain that makes bread divine. But wait, there's more to this tale I must share, for Alfido's not just a phantom in air. She's said to be old, with hair so pure as snow, a corn mother spirit in the fields she did grow. The wise William Manhearted, wow, I'm really bad at reading. The wise Wilhelm Wanhard, with his folklore mind, saw Alfido as a goddess of a different kind, the goddess of barley, of vegetation's grace, a symbol of growth in the world's embrace. Now let's talk about Graves, this scholar so grand. He saw Alfido with a white pale hand. A white goddess, he said, from the past she did roam, her name once a light, now a spectre unknown. In one light she's lovely, as pearl barley bright, but in another she's frightful, a ghost in the night. Like leprosy's whiteness or a corpse's pale face, Alfido's dull nature holds a mystery space. From non-Nonacrease, they say she did live, where snow-covered cliffs and silence did give. Her presence a warning to children to play, to mind their behavior and not stray. Some say she was tied to the curses of the child, with demons like Mormo, so cruel and so wild. Spirits that threatened with cold chilling fear, the ones who did not hold their loved ones near. But now in our time, Alfido's not gone. She lingers in stories, though faded withdrawn. Her name now remembered as flower she did guard, the goddess of grain, of bread, and of bard. In pop culture, we see her again, in cookbooks and kitchens where sweet treats begin. Medea Header, they say, with her hair of silver hue, is Alfido reborn, making cookies for you. So remember, dear Alfido, with flour in her hand, a goddess of grain, who once ruled the land. From the myths of the old, her tale still does grow, a reminder of stories that we still should know. All right, the next one. So I've given my thoughts on that in the last episode, the last podcast. I remember mentioning already before that it's pretty much like it's kind of hard for people to make up their mind of like, oh yeah, be careful, or Fido's going to come get you with treats. You're going to hate it. Yeah, she's going to make your like plants grow and like, oh my goodness, you're going to hate it. All right, so the next boogeyman is called the Babe. Babe, oh Babe, the night in your friend. In the dark shadows your stories descend. A spirit, a boogeyman hiding to slay. You creeping round the windows, you make children cry. Babe is quiet with a whisper so cold. He's an old crooked man with a secret to hold. Armless or limping, he wanders the night. With his cane in his bag, he's a dreadful sight. In the forest or swamp, he might choose to dwell, where the trees stretch their arms and the shadows do dwell. But when he's on streets, with his bag oh so wide, he's looking for children who's up and outside. Rockabye, 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 don't come, Babe, don't creep nearby. You don't need no hay, not even a snack. You'll just take the children, that's a terrible fact. Under the bed or by the door. If you're not sleeping, he'll come for more. Rustling and knocking, he'll make you afraid. And he'll sneak in quietly, his plan well laid. Bobby, oh Bobby, we're calling you out. Please stay away, don't make a sound. For if we are awake, you'll make us scared. But we'll sleep tight, you'll see we'll be well prepared. A rockabye, 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 you old Bobby. Don't even try. Uh, Mishka sleep, so no need to creep. He's growing up strong and safe in his sleep. So children be good and sleep tight in your bed. For Bobby's not coming, so don't fill with dread. He'll leave you alone if you rest through the night and wake up in the morning with sunshine so bright. Wow. It didn't flow at some parts, but it was still pretty good. I kind of liked it. I liked what they did. I liked what they did with Bobby. There's a couple of these boogeymen that I kind of like curious as to why they kind of faded. Like some of these are kind of cool. Bobby especially, even though he seems kind of like a night stalker. What's that? You got kids that are going to sleep? I'll fix that. And then just knocking on their windows, sneaking in. Hey there, little boy, little girl. You not asleep? Don't worry. I'll make things a lot worse. Do you like scary stories? Let me tell you about the time where dial-up internet was the main form of entertainment. You see, you had to like log into AOL and like kids would start screaming like, "I promise I'll go back to sleep. Stop telling us about your past. We don't care." No, wait, but like, let me tell you about AOL. Do you know what a slinky is? What if there's like a boogeyman that instead of scaring kids, they just bore them to death? Just they're just so boring and such a drag that like kids will just obey because they don't want to be bothered. They just don't want to be bothered. Hey kids, it's me, Stinky Wizzle Teeth, and I'm here to talk to you about the magic of fax machines. It's like an energy vampire, like in the show What We Do in the Shadows. It's like an energy vampire. He just shows up. It's like, oh, he'll take care of it. He'll just drain them of their life force, and they'll pass out from the lack of energy. All right, so this one's called Black Anise. In Leicestershire's hills, where the trees grow so tall, lives Black Annis, the hag, who will frighten us all. With a face that's as blue as the sky on a stormy day, and ironclad claws that she'll use to slay. She dwells in a cave in the Dane Hills deep, where she waits for the children who stray while they sleep. Who stray while they sleep? That's called sleepwalking. She hunts with great speed with her claws ready for fun, to capture and eat them, then leave on the run. She hangs up their skin from a tree at her door, to wear round her waist like trophies of war. Her oak trees is tall with branches so wide. She hides in its limbs where her victims can't hide. At night, when she howls, the villagers quake. Her voices can be heard for 5 miles away. They bolt up the doors. They hang herbs in the air to protect them from Annis, who's out for the scare. She's known for her teeth that grind and they gnash, warning the folks to avoid her mad dash. Cottages built small with windows so tight, only one arm can reach in on a cold stormy night. Some say her roots lie in myths of old, from Celtic goddesses wicked and bold. Was she once a goddess devouring young life, or just a legend made to cause strife? Others believe that she was once a real dame, a holy woman whose story was framed. Named Agnes Scott, she lived in a cave, praying to save, but feared as a slave. So beware of the hills and the caves that you roam, for Black Annis is lurking and waiting to come home. If you hear her teeth grind, don't look in the sky. Just hide, lock your doors, and pray to pass by. So this one's like not towards children, which there's not a lot of boogeymen like this, where it's not necessarily towards kids, but like the entire community. Like their target was much grander, much bigger. Like, what, you think I'm gonna go after your kids? No, all of you, the whole household, the husband, the wife, the children, and the dog. You're all coming with me. And like, that's kind of unique. It's a sort of fear that the whole family can enjoy. You know, like those games where it's like it's fun for the whole family. It's like it's fear for the whole family. Black Anna's fear for the whole family. All right, this one's called Raw Head Bloody Bones. Raw head and bloody bones, what a creepy sight. A boogeyman, oh, what a fright. Since 1548, they've been known by name. In the world of folklore, they rose to fame. Bloody Bones, oh, he's a fearsome beast, haunting the waters from west to east. The water demon, they say, he haunts the pound. He haunts the pound where all the dogs and cats are. He haunts the pond, where children beware are yanked far beyond. Stay away from the marl pit, you've been warned, or bloody bones will have you, child, all mourned. In old Yorkshire and Lancashire, they did shout, Rawhead and bloody bones will creep you out. But wait, that what? But wait, what's that? Is Rawhead one and bloody bones another? In the South, they say they're two, one after the other. Rawhead's a skull, all bare and gray, biting poor victims, keeping them at bay. Bloody Bones, though, is a skeleton dance, a headless monster with an eerie trance. He'll dance through the night, with bones so bright, taking children who don't act right. In the dark cupboard under the stairs, Bloody Bones waits, full of despair. Peer through the creek if you dare to see the bloody-faced beast who will be waiting for thee. Some say old Bloody Bones, down in Cornwall's glade, is a spirit of evil from battles once made. A ghostly figure with a hunger for screams, haunting Knocker's Hole and other dark dreams. So children beware when the night's all around. Raw head and bloody bones can be anywhere in town. In the southern states, they still make their mark, and the tales of these monsters give a good spark. So now that you know what a fright they can be, keep away from the dark and be good, you see. Rawhead and Bloody Bones, with their eerie, sharp cries, will never get you if you're wise. So what if you're not? What if you're like me and you're just simply stupid? Well, then you're gonna die. Then you're simply dead. You are SOL. Alright? You're just done. That's what that means. Oh, okay. I was just wondering. I was curious. Okay, so this one's called Bodok. It's Bodok. Not Modok. That's from Marvel. This is Bodok. This is from folklore. In the land of the geek. Oh, wow. Right off the bat, I mispronounced something. In the lands of the Gales, where the legends unfold, lives a trickster old man, both mischievous and bold. His name is the Bodok, an old fellow, you see, a rustic old man, or a lout, you agree, with a a hag. They what is that word? Kalich, Kali. With a collie, a hag, they might make quite the pair. In Irish tales told with a dash of despair. The Bodok, a figure in stories quite grand, could be a trickster or the devil's right hand. But where did it come from? Where did it start? Well, the Bodach's name came from Old Irish art. A tenant, a serf, a peasant so low. Bodach, it was a name with a glow. They say it comes from bod, a word for a tale, or maybe a hut where the tenants would hail. It's also said to mean a cottage, you see, a place for the peasants so humble and free. Now, in modern Gaelic, it's old man, we say, used with tales of old he wasn't so sweet, a bugbear, a boogeyman hiding in the street. In Ectra Condla, he was king of the land, Bodach the Entrala, with power so grand. But his name, it was different, derived from Bodash, a word meaning victorious, no match for the Bodach. Then we travel to folklore, where he comes from the sky, through chimneys at night with an ominous sigh. He snatches the children who don't mind their ways and takes them away to a place that dismays. But wait, there is more to this old man, so sly in Scottish tales he can make the children cry. The Bodach Glaze, the old grey man, is a harbinger of death with a sinister plan. And in tales like Waverley, when Fergus did see a Bodach glass foretold his death, it's clear to me. W.B. Yeats, in a play with a riddle so deep, had a Bodach trick him. Oh, he lost his sleep. In more modern tales, the Bodach appears with shadowy forms that conjure up fears. In Moonshine and Old Thomas, great books, Bodachs show up with mysterious looks. They're, they're ink-like creatures invisible to most. They hang around the place where disaster will boast. They bring doom and gloom lurking out of sight. In the darkest of places, they linger at night. But the back in the days of yore, the moon of Gomrath, the Bodachs were goblins who'd block your path. With bald, shining heads and bird legs so neat, they'd come at you quickly and trip up your feet. So whenever he's a king or a gray old ghost or an ink-like creature that loves to boast, the Bodach is here in stories so vast. And he'll trick you and scare you if you're not fast. Oh my god, this is so much reading. I've never done so much rhyming in my life. What if this just breaks me? What if like all of a sudden a part of my brain just snaps and all I do is start rhyming, like full sentences. I just start rhyming everything, just everything. I go mad. I go crazy. And just in the middle of the podcast, I just snap. Aaron, it's not happening right now. This isn't it. All right. When I snap, you'll know. You'll know. It'll be in epic proportions. This is me just making an observation. There is an overwhelming part of me that doesn't want to do this. But the next one's a Bogart. So it's not the same as a Bodach. This is a Bogart. Last one was a Bodach. Alright? This is a Bogart, not a Bodach. One's a doc and one's a art. One's a Gart and the other one's a Ack. Yeah. Dak and Gart. Dak Gart. New boogeyman. New boogeyman. A Dak Gart. What's a Dak Gart? I don't know. Made up. On the spot. I wonder if like there's parents that still do this. Like their form of parenting is just scaring their kids. I wonder if that's still a thing. Like, oh, the boogeyman's gonna get ya. It's like, oh no, which one? There's so many of them. Mama, Papa, which one? Is it Black Annis? Is it coming for all of us? Is it the Bodach? Is it Alfeda? Because if it's Alfeda, that's not a big deal. I can handle Alfeda. She's gonna give me cookies. It's fine. She's gonna tuck me into bed. She's gonna read me a story. Cookies and milk's what I'm gonna get. And then as she leaves, she's gonna take a handful of fucking flour and just throw it in my face. And it's gonna be leprosy. It's diseased infused flour that she's gonna throw. Just a big handful of it, and she's gonna uh, fucking curveball it at me. I don't know, knuckleball. Anyways, enough with the baseball references. Oh, the Bogart, a creature with a name so strange. It roams in the nights and can cause quite a change. It hides in the shadows, both near and far, from hilltops to hearths or a house that's bizarre. What's a Bogart, you ask with a curious stare? Well, let's take a look. It's a spirit with flair. A generic name, says Elizabeth Wright, for appearance and spirits that come in the night. Simon Young says it's evil and ovulating. Evil and oblivalent, whatever. A solitary ghost with a mind that's a screw. Kai Roberts claims that it's more than one form. It could be a hobgoblin or a poltergeist born. A Bogart could creep in your bed with cold hands. That's just your husband trying to get fresh with your brain. That's just your husband getting fresh with your hams. Just he's got them. He's got them. Your husband's got Bogart hands. His hands are too cold. Oh crud! I lost my place. Uh, and once he get okay. Bogart can creep in the bed. He has cold hands. It pulls off your sheets and makes you feel like you're. Yeah, no, that's your husband. That's it. And once you give it a name, oh, it's out of control. It can't be reasoned with. Oh, it'll take its toll. That's why you never call a man daddy. Like, I'm telling you, that's what happens. He's got cold hands. He takes the blankets off. You're like, stop it, daddy. And then, like, yeah, then you're screwed. It's out of control now. It's. Sorry, I'm like really bored. I'm like this when I'm bored. I get a little spicy when I'm bored, which means I should probably keep reading because I have a feeling a lot of you are finding that funny, so I probably should keep reading then. This pesky Bogart with names galore, Bogart, or Buggard, it swore. I'm surprised Booger's not one of them. Bogart, Boogard. It all comes from bug, a word for a fiend, a monster or ghost in a folklore scene. But what does it look like? His Bogart or fear? Why, its shape can vary, and it's ugly, I hear, from squat and hairy like a beast in disguise, to a fearsome creature with eyes like pies. Now let's talk of Ode Hob, the Bogart's great boss. A satyr, a devil horns, and a tail, what a loss. He leads with wild ones in their ghostly parade, causing trouble wherever they've laid. In Leicestershire, wow, these boogeymen are really enjoying Leicestershire. Old tales would recount how a Bogart at night would make its amount, like laughing and banging, disturbing the peace, leaving hoof marks outside, never a case. Yet when one Bogart met a farmer in need, they struck a deal, well, a tricky one indeed. Choose your crop above or below, but no matter the choice, you'll get nothing to show. Now, Grizzlehurst Bogart, so fierce and so wild, was buried yet still caused chaos quite riled. With red burning eyes and a laugh in the air, he'd overturn carts without a care. Bogart's mites haunt caves or a lonely old tree. They even lurk near Bogart Hill, as you'll see. And if you cross a Bogart's bridge, so they say, Give up a life or your soul's swept away. These pesky creatures, so tricky and shy, they may haunt your dreams or cause quite a sigh. But be careful, my friends, and remember with care, a Bogart's name must never be declare. So, where do these Bogarts live and they roam? Well, in the bogs and hills, or even your home. From Yorkshire and Leicestershire, they spread wide in marshes and caves with no place to hide. So beware of the Bogart, a creature so sly, with a shape-shifting form and a mischievous eye. And remember the lesson that folklore has taught. Don't name it, my friend, or it's trouble you've sought. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Just think, I spent so much time today gathering these, and most of you, I can feel it. I can feel it. Most of you, all right, are unassociating. All right, you're dissociating right now. Snap out of it. Go get some coffee. Come back. We have a lot more to go. We have a lot more. Come back. Come back to snap back to reality. We got more to do. That being said, what time is it? it Ooh, 12 more minutes, and we'll be working on the third hour. Ooh. Oh my god. Um, I kind of want to work towards the 3 hour marker, to be honest. So let me restart the timer. It probably won't be exactly 3 hours because I'm restarting it now instead of later. But let's do it. Let's do it. 3 hours. So this one's called The Bugbear. Oh, the bugbear, what a curious sight. A creature so spooky it lurks out of sight. With eyes full of mischief and claws that are mean, it's just like a boogeyman, oh, what a scene. In days of old England, the story was told of a bear in the forest, both creepy and bold. The bugbear would sneak, and it would cause a fright, scaring the children by day and by night. Now, the name bugbear, oh, where does it come? From bug in English and Welsh, where we're not dumb. I am. No, I am. It could be from BWG, Bwig, meaning spirit of doom, or from Scots bogle, a goblin of gloom. The bugbear's a beast, with its fur dark and thick, lurking in forest with a shadowy flick. A bear in the woods. Oh, how scary it was. But children beware, it's not just because. You see, the bugbear with its fearsome grin is just a tale to keep children in. It's all to remind us to listen and mind. The bugbear's just waiting for children behind. Now, in today's world, it's still with us, you know. In fantasy's tales where the bugbears grow, they're hairy and large and goblin-like too. A minor villain in games like D&D too. But wait, what's this? The bugbear's still here? In My Little Pony, it gives us a cheer. A four-armed panda with wings that will sting. With antenna, it buzzes and gives us a fling. Now, the bugbear's not just an old fright, it's also a term for the things we don't like. Your pet peeve, your annoyance, that's a bugbear too. That little thing that's been bothering you. So now that you know, and you can surely tell, the bugbear's quite clever, but all in good spell. It's scary and hairy, it's monstrous too, but next time it bothers you, say boo-hoo. I don't think that's gonna work. I don't think saying boo-hoo is gonna work. I think it's gonna laugh at you and then gobble you up. I think that is what's gonna happen. Everyone's food for something. Everyone's food for something else. It's called Circle of Life. This one's called a bugle nose. Bugle nose. All right, so we're right now starting to enter the words that I will not be able to pronounce, and that's scaring me just slightly bit because I don't know how to say some of these words. So I'm gonna mispronounce a lot of this. Okay, especially once it like starts getting to the languages I don't speak, because some of the explanation will be in another language pretty soon, and yeah, that's gonna be hard. Mostly, mostly for me because I don't know how to pronounce these words or what they mean. So forgive me, all right. But how many are left? Oh my god, there's so many. There's so many. Um, how much time we have left? Oh my god, the hour has just begun. I'm already complaining. I'm already complaining. I'm not gonna take a break. I'm gonna go with the full 3 hours. Okay, the full, no breaks, zero breaks. Here's an update to my sprained situation. My foot's inflated. Uh, it's a fresh spring. It's a fresh new pain. The only thing that this pain is helping me is keeping me focused. Like I will daydream and then like I'll get a jolt of pain from my foot and it snaps me back into what I'm reading. So it's keeping me like aligned here. It's the only good thing. All right, here we go. Here we go. In the land of the dark, in Brittany's own night, lurks the bugle Nas with eyes full of fright, a creature of legend from the Morbihan hills, with claws sharp and fierce and a voice that gives chills. A goblin or kobold, some say he's so small, but others describe him as quite tall. He whistles and creeps with fiery eyed glares, and warns all the workers who wander in flares. He's the night shepherd who walks through the mist, a being of dusk whom none should resist. For when twilight falls and shadows grow long, his haunting calls echo the night's eerie song. Now, if you're a shepherd or lingering too late, the bugle Nas might be sealing your fate. Why is the Nas? This is the Nas part. The Nas part makes me think of like the Nazgul from Lord of the Rings. I'm thinking of like not the Nazgul, but like the ring wraiths. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know why I thought the flying creatures were the ring wraiths themselves. I'm thinking of Nazgul. That's what I'm thinking of. He'll chase you down fast. He steps light and quick, and if you're not careful, your life might be slick. He'll trap you, he'll grab you, or carry you far to the deep dark waters where the cold shadows are. The the cock will then crow, and dawn will soon break. And if you're his prisoner, the price you will take. But wait, there's a twist in this tale so grand. For some say he's kind and guides the land. A spirit of safety, not terror or doom. He helps those who wander from dark's looming gloom. So if you should wander alone through the night, listen and for whistling and check for the light. The bugle Nas might guide you or chase you away, but either way he'll ensure you don't stray. Bottom line, there's a creature out there who like either will take you somewhere or like will help you. Either way, he's not gonna let you just stay where you are. Either way, take you or guide you, you're not gonna stay there. That's just the bottom line. He's taking you somewhere. That's yeah. He's like a kidnapper. A kidnapper that does good deeds every now and again. Alright, this one's called Chivalguavian. Don't know. Don't know. I don't care to look up the pronunciation either. I'm just gonna give it a try, really. In the hills of Juara, so high and so steep, lurks a horse in the night with a secret to keep. A Chivalguarva with eyes full of dread, rides the rides the wind through the forest where the shadows are spread. It gallops through graveyards by water and stone. A horse of great evil, it rides all alone. It leaps o'er the rivers. O'er. Not over. O hyphen er. That's so cool. It leaps over the rivers and crashes through trees, chasing the lost with the greatest of ease. It's said to be wicked, it's said to be bold, but its story quite chilling as the legends unfold. A Chambly in Jura, in Montberry too, they whisper of it, but what should you do? If you meet a Guavin, you badger beware. It'll throw you off course and into thin air. You may end up drowned or tossed in a hole. The Guavin's great mission to take your very soul. But where did it come from? Oh, who gave it its name? It's a ghost of a knight or something just the same. For legend says Guavin, a knight of great fame, had a steed so wild it was part of his claim. Uh, Now the horse roams the mountains so dark and so deep. It's a boogeyman, a creature that makes a children weep. Some say it's a goblin, or perhaps why? Why? Why does it always go back to goblin? Why do all these boogeymen are going back to goblin? It's like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a bugbear. Or it's a goblin. I don't know. Oh, what's that over there? Oh, that? Yeah, that's a Bogart. Or a goblin. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's a ghost horse. Or like maybe it's a goblin. It's these things that keep going back to goblin. All right. All right. Creature with tree, but then it goes into that. It comes to the Guavin horse rides. Okay, did I miss the whole chapter? Where'd the goblin part go? It gave his name. Okay, now the horses roams the mountains so dark and so deep, and the boogeyman, a creature that makes children weep. Some say it's a goblin, or perhaps it's a curse, a thing of a shadow that gotten much worse. In the Swiss Jura, the French committee too, the Guavin horse rides, making trouble for you. With no care for the living, it gallops all night, a harbinger of doom in the pale moonlight. Isn't that cool? Isn't that nice? Let's see if this next one is a goblin. Christy Cleek. Christy Cleek. In the hills of the Grampians, where the winds howl and bite, lived a man named Christy Cleek with a taste for a fright. A butcher by trade in the year 1400 or so, he joined a group of scavengers with nowhere to go. The famine was dreadful, the flood and the rats. The land was in turmoil with nothing but scraps. But when one in the group met a grim, hungry end, Christie saw a solution, a gruesome trend. With butcher's sharp skill and a heart full of greed, he carved up the body to feed his hungry need. The group tasted flesh and soon would crave, human and horse alike, they'd find in the grave. Christie led the band, a dark force on the prowl. With a hook on a rod, he'd drag you down foul. Cleek, they would call him, the name struck like glue, as he took down his victims with a horrific view. Though through passes they'd wait by the side of the track for a lone rider to come and never look back. 30 men fell victims to his cruel hand, but Christie the butcher had more plans to expand. The tales of his terrors, so ghastly and grim, spread through the land like a nightmare's dim hymn. Yet fate would catch up as it always must do. An armed force came calling, and Christine withdrew. Some say he escaped, rejoining the fray, living a new life in a purpose way. But the word Christine Cleek still carried such dread that even the boldest would shiver in bed. As the Sawney being a tale much like this, a cannibal story too horrible to miss. But Christine's tale comes from a time long before the Bean family legend and its grisly lore. Though Bean's name is known far and wide, Christine Horrors, much older, did in shadows bide. With Shoeston Cleek in the Chronicles of Yore, he trapped children and women, then ate them galore. A butcher by trade, but a monster by act. He haunted with hooks, and he never looked back. A tale passed down through ages of dread, a name so feared it was enough to turn heads. So heed this rhyme and remember the lore of Christine Cleek, whose name still makes hearts sore. A figure of legends, a horror and pain, who taught and hunger and can drive one insane. And was like very, very possibly a goblin. Just saying. I'm just saying. Very, very possibly a goblin. The Tales of the Coco. The Cuckoo. The Kuka. There's a lot of names for this one. Kuka, Cuckoo, 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 Kaka. It's time for the time for the Cuckoo Kaka. The legends of the Cuckoo Kaka. In the dark of the night, when the moon's shining bright, there's a creature who lurks and gives children a fright. The cuckoo, the kooky, the cuckoo, the kuka. You may call him what you like, but he's the boogeyman's buka. With names like Kooky or Kuka or Cuckoo or Cuckoo Kaka. That's my personal one, Cuckoo Kaka. I call him the Kaka. He'll find misbehaving kids no matter where they go. From Spain to Portugal, he's spread far and wide. In every dark corner, he's got nowhere to hide. He's a monster, a ghost, an eerie sight. He'll snatch up a child if they're not good tonight. Up on the rooftops. Why did a Christmas song pop in my head when I said that? Up on the rooftops, click, click, click. Cow comes caca, cuckoo ca. Cuckoo caca. Up on the rooftops, click, clack, clack. Cow comes cuckoo caca. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop doing that. Because it's starting to get stuck in my head. I need to stop. Up on the rooftops, he watches with care, waiting for children who just don't play fair. But it's not his looks that'll make you afraid. It's what he will do when the moonlight does fade. He might eat you whole or take you away to a place of no return where you cannot stay. He's a shapeshifter, a master of disguise, always lurking, always wise. Under the bed, in the coldest so sly. He's the monster who will make you sweet dreams fly by. His name, Cuckoo, came from the Galatian land. A coconut, a skull, a head in your hand. Coca means head, as the story's been told. And that's the scariest part, so I've been told. From Portugal's roofs to Brazil's dark alleys, the Cuca comes from terrifying in valleys. It's Cuca in Brazil, an alligator queen, and she'll snatch little ones if they make a scene. And lullabies sung in the homes far and wide, parents warned their kids with no place to hide. Yeah, I'm not saying that. This is another language, this part here, and I don't know what it says. So we're just gonna skip that part. That means sleep, child, sleep, or Coco will creep, come to your bed and make you weep. So kids behave, don't play around, or the Coco will come and drag you to the ground. In Spain and Mexico, he's known as El Cuco, A monster who's clever and oh so sneaky, a true fable in New Mexico. He's called the Coco Man. He'll take you away with his mischievous plan. But don't you fret, don't you cry, for Coco's just a legend that will pass by. Uh, I just got a notification. What's going on? Nothing. It was just a random notification. Anyways, and that stopped me mid sentence. But don't you fret, don't you cry, for Coco's just a legend that will pass by. He's there to remind you when the sun sets low that good little children will always glow. So sleep tight, uh, my dear little. Let your dreams take flight. The Cocos won't come if you're sweet and polite. And if you forget, well, the Coco's on his way. He'll be gone in the morning, but only if you obey. Cool. So lovely, so nice. What a friendly little boogeyman. So this next one, oh man, there's so many. Loa Drape, the ghostly steed, another ghost horse. In Agius Mortis, a tale so told of a horse so pale and oh so bold. Laudrapi, the ghostly beast, who takes the children from the feast. When the moon is high and the night is deep, he wanders the streets while others sleep. With a mighty thud, the hooves do sound, gathering lost children all around. But don't you fret, don't you fear, for Laudrape brings no cheer. He takes the kids one by one to places unknown till the day is done. Now, where he takes them, none can say. Some believe he takes them far away. The watery graves or lands unknown, their fate's a mystery all their own. Some say he's a drake in disguise, a demon of water and fiery eyes. He takes the shape of a horse so fine, a symbol of death with a chilling sign. From the town of Agius Mortis, roams a terror of children who stray from home. His back catch scratch. Wow, what the? Whoa, hold on. That's not what it said. His back can stretch. I don't know where his back cat scratch. I don't know where that came from. His back can stretch, oh so long, to carry children where they don't belong. But where they go, it's said to be grim, a swamp, a marsh, or a place so dim. Perhaps they drown, or maybe they roam, in a faraway kingdom that's far from home. Lo Drape's name comes from long ago, a tale from the past, like a shadow's glow. Frederick Mistral speaks of his region, a drapet, a revenant who causes pain. Region and pain don't rhyme. In the 19th century, tales were spread of the ghostly horses that filled kids with dread. Colin de Plancy wrote it down, and something Midgen added tales of his phantom clown. Where did the phantom clown come from? I thought we were talking about a horse. By the 20th century, he still haunted the streets. A white horse with hooves so sweet, his sound a melody in the air, calling out children from everywhere. But when they ride, oh, they can't get off, for loud Drepe will take them to their doom, they'll scoff. The children scream, but it's no use, the loud Drepe rides with deadly noose. Some say he's a symbol of neglect, a reminder for mothers to give respect. To care for their children, keep them tight, or loud Drepe will take them in the night. The horse's white coat, so pale, so bright, gives off a glow of ghastly light, a symbol of grief, of death and doom, like a horseman who rides in the gloom. His rump can grow so long and wide, carrying kids like a twisted ride, a serpent's tail or a worm's great length, to take away the children to their torment's strength. The legends passed from year to year, a tale of terror that children fear. But in the end, If you dare to ride, you'll find Ludra true dark side. For children stray and wander out, he'll take them far, no doubt, no doubt. But then you scream and make a sign. Laudrepe might just cross the line. Oh, Laudrepe, the horse so sly, he'll never let the children die. For in the end, they'll find a way to escape the horrors of Laudrepe. And so we sing to this very day, who will ride Laudrepe? You or me, the one Laudrepe will take away. It will be you, not me. But never fear, for in the end, the horse's rein will slowly bend. For those who fight and stand up tall will break the curse and save them all. The end. Next poem. Just. Oh my god, am I almost done? No. Okay. I saw the today marker and I was like, wait, am I almost done? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. There's a good chance there's going to have to be a part two. Because I don't know if I can mentally go through any more of this. So I will do a part two of this. There would be a part two of the boogeyman list because there's clearly too many. There's clearly there's enough here for an entire other podcast. There really is. So there will just have to be a part two to this because I have to. Otherwise, I'm not gonna mentally make it. I'm not. Let's end this episode. How much time do I have left? 30 minutes. Good enough. Let's end the episode with story time. It's time for me to share stories from my past. Everyone liked the last few that I did in the last episode, so I don't see why it won't work again for this one. Okay. I don't plan for these, by the way. I just try to see if I can remember any on the spot. So, I was diagnosed with autism. And it happened when I was like really young. I don't remember what grade. But my teachers were noticing that like I was falling behind. And so they called my parents in one day to kind of like show them, what I was doing wrong. And like the way that I saw it was that the teacher was just going too fast. But like I get that they have the whole classroom to teach, but like slow down. You don't have to go at warp speed through your lessons. You could just slow down a little bit. Well, I couldn't keep up. So eventually they had me do like a test to see if like I have the autism. They had to see if I had the tism. And like I guess they just were like, yeah, no, your son's got the tism. Sorry. He's on the spectrum. It wasn't called the spectrum back then. It was just your son has autism. And so I will never forget this. My mom sits me down and she's like, I have something very important to tell you. And I was like concerned, but I was like, okay, what is it? And here's the thing. My mom did a lot of reading about autism, right? God bless her soul. She went out, she read the books, and so she was trying to explain this to a child with autism in a way that she thought I would understand it. And the only thing that I understood was that she has it too. Like, I'm pretty sure you've got the tism. So the way that she explained to me that I had autism, she goes, all right, in your head, there's like a queen bee. In your head, there's a queen bee. And there's all these messengers that are trying to reach the queen bee, but they're getting lost. So people have to send more messengers until one of them reaches the queen bee in your head. Does that make sense? I was like, you're telling me I have bees in my head? What? Like, I get it now. She was saying that sometimes information's not getting to me and I have to be told over and over again until I get it. But back then, the whole bees thing really messed with me. Like, I really didn't get it. So the first day of special needs class is what they used to call it. Special needs. Uh, she walked me in, and I took like one look around, and I was like, I do not belong here. And she's like, "Oh no, no, this is where you belong now. These are your people." I'm like, "No, no. You see, because that kid over there is eating glue, and that one over there is uh just throwing glitter all over the place. I'm good. You can take me back to class. I think I can catch up." But no, no. Joke's on me. That was my classroom. Like, for the rest of my education, the rest of my school year education, not just for that 1 year, but for like all the way through high school, I got to go in special ed. And like, I had like friends, right, who would remember that I was in their class. And they're like, "Hey, we haven't seen you in class lately. Where have you been?" And I'm like, "Oh, my mom put me in this new classroom. It's called special ed." I'm like, "We've never heard of that classroom. How'd you get in there?" I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess I'm special." "Well, how do we get in there?" "Well, not everyone can get in there. You have to be born special, okay?" "Well, how did you get born special?" "It's genetics. I don't know what to tell you. It's just good genes. That's all it is. Good genes." Well, it's pretty soon, eventually. It was bound to happen. One of my friends' grades dropped, and they were like, he might belong in this classroom too. And I see him. He's beaming at me. He's so happy to be there. And I was just like, "Oh no. Well, there goes my friend group. It was good knowing you." And sure enough, this is the moment this classroom started. Uh, Teacher walked in. She's like, "All right, today we're going to start learning our ABCs." "What? You guys are what now?" "Yeah, they're a little behind." Yeah, they might be just a smidge behind, but like, don't worry, it's still pretty good. It's pretty cool in here. Like, okay, today we're gonna use we're gonna take our finger and we're gonna put it in the sand today. He instantly found out I was lying about how actual special this class is. It's more like I was special, not the class was special. So yeah, word got around pretty quickly, and a lot of my friends stopped being friends with me because they're like, "That's wow, dude, that's really weird that you're in that class." I'm like, "I know." But the funniest part, here's the funniest part. You see, we for some reason ate separately from the rest of the school. Like, we had our own table. Like, we were segregated. It was weird. And we had to hold hands. I'm not making any of this up, by the way. We had to hold hands to the table to get our lunch. And like, I was just kind of like, oh, the teacher's not looking back. She's just confidently sure that we're holding hands. And I'm looking around. No one's holding hands. It's just us. We're holding hands in like almost a conga line to get lunch. So I took the kid in front of me and the kid behind me, and I just made them hold hands, and they kept going, and I just kind of dipped. I kind of left, and I went and did my own thing. Okay, I went and did my own thing. Well, little did I know, teacher would notice the moment that they sit down, there'd be a gap missing of where I was supposed to sit, and she was like, "Where is he? We are missing a kid. Where did he go?" Well, then rumors started spreading, right? Like, the rest of the kids, they don't know why this teacher's freaking out. They think it might be contagious. And like, "Oh no, one of them got out. What if we catch what they have?" And I'm right there with them. I'm like, "I don't know. Do you think we can catch it?" Like, I'm trying to play stupid, right? I'm trying to fit in. Like, "I don't know. I think we might get what they have." And then the teacher sees me. She goes, "There you are." And like, instantly, I mean, everyone took a step back away from me. Oh my God. Like, they instantly, once I was pointed out, they did not want to be near me anymore. Like, ugh. They all took a step away from me. Uh, there was even a time when we were eating in class, different, okay, this is a different scenario, different school, different grade. Mrs. Wells' class. Oh my goodness, I can't remember, I can't believe I still remember the teacher's name. Mrs. Wells' class. And we ate inside. Something had happened where we had to start eating inside the classroom. I think somebody bit someone. I don't remember. Uh, College is a funny year. I'm joking. So we had to eat inside the classroom, and there was a moment where uh, uh, I got transferred into another classroom after that with I don't quite remember which one it was, but I remember the teacher's aide. Uh, was the teacher's name Will something Will something? Willerton, Willibson. I think that was it. Anyways, she had me walk with them to get the food because it was pizza day and she needed help, and I volunteered. And so I had food lined up my arms, right? I had food lined up on my left arm, food lined up on my right arm, and she goes, "All right, drop the food and go ahead and grab some milk and put it in the containers, and we'll head back to class." I was like, "What do you mean, drop the food?" She goes, "I want you to drop the food on the ground and then get the milk." No, not getting that. I don't think I should do that actually. Why do I have to drop the food? And she goes, "Listen to me. Drop the food on the ground." And when she said that, both arms turned over and the pizzas fell on the ground, pizza side. She's like, "Why did you do that?" Like, "You just told me to drop the food on the ground." She's like, "Not like that." Well, I don't know. So we had to go back to class with no food. The cafeteria did not have enough food. Um, and so we had to go back and like explain to them that I dropped the food on the ground. And like nobody, not a single soul was proud of that. Like everyone hated me, even my own classmates. Like it was at that very moment that I think it was the first time I've ever felt absolute hatred from absolutely everyone. Like, ooh, I felt that. Yeah, though that was not fun, not pleasant. Uh, Let me share one more story and then we'll wrap things up. Okay, one time. Uh, oh, let me think. Try to think of a good one. Like I have plenty of stories. I'm just trying to think of a good one. A good story. Okay, well, I mean, I guess this one's good. I guess this one's fine. All right. So I'm considering telling this story because I'm still a little embarrassed by it. I really am. I'm super embarrassed by this story. All right. Well, now I'm trying to think of like, what if I just tell a different story? I don't have to tell it. No, I think it'd be a great way to end this episode. Something that will keep everyone around. Something that will really really get your attention. All right. So there's this one time. Oh God, I can't believe I'm saying this. There's this one time that I was at Knott's Berry Farm. Was it Knott's Berry Farm? I think so. They had a rapid ride, like you're in a little tube. It might have been California Adventure. Doesn't matter. Either California Adventure or Knott's Berry Farm. It was one of those two. We had just gotten done with the water ride, and I was wearing like swim trunks because my mom brought my swimming trunks so that we go on the water rides, and then we could switch out to our regular clothes so we'd be nice and dry with something warm, right? We didn't want to walk around with wet clothes all day. So I had to pee, and there was like this line going out the bathroom door, both stalls, and so like I'm dripping wet, dripping wet. And I had this idea, if I just stand over the drainage, there's just like a little water drain, and if I just pee slowly, I can make it seem like I'm just wringing out my clothes, right? Just wringing them out. And I'm sitting there and I'm just pissing myself in public. I'm literally peeing myself in public, pretending to wring out my clothes. And like every so often, someone will come by and like, "Wow, you really got wet on that ride." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And and there's like a moment where my mom saw me and she's trying to put two and two together, right? She's seeing that like just a little too much water's coming out of me. There's no way I'm this wet. And I finish, and like the lines to the bathroom mysteriously got way shorter. So I go in there, and instead of using the restroom, I'm just washing my hands and trying to use the blow dryer to like dry my clothes a little bit. I'm also like doing my best to like maybe grab some soap, rub it onto the swimming trunk so it smells less of piss. And I go back out and my mom's all like, "I need to ask, did you pee yourself?" I'm like, "No." It's like, when you were over there by the drain, you weren't peeing yourself. You were honestly that wet. I'm like, "Yeah. Why would I pee myself in public where everyone can see me?" So confession time, I absolutely did pee myself right there in front of everybody. And yeah, it's something I did. uh, well, that's gonna be it for this podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I want to do something special. Instead of requesting for facts in the comments, I want you to start a one word story. And then I'm going to take said one word story and turn it into either Shakespeare or Dr. Seuss related. Whatever the case is, we're going to take the one word story of this episode. And the next episode, I'm going to read them back as either Dr. Seuss or, yeah, anything. And just to really confuse people, don't tell them why we're doing this. Just go ahead, start doing it. If someone leaves a regular comment, reply to that comment with one word to continue the one word story trend. And then next episode, I will uh, gather them all up, either turn it into some kind of poetry, something fun. But thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll catch all of you next episode.